Is there really something that has been hidden from the public? Is it true that Hyuk's shocking confirmation of Taehyung and Jungkook will shake ARMY around the world? Check out this suspense-filled story to the end. And don't forget to leave a comment, hit the like button, and subscribe to keep abreast of developments that could change everything. ARMY is silent. Hyuk's shocking confirmation. What happened to Taehyung and Jungkook? Who would have thought that a simple phrase thrown from the lips of the founder of an entertainment giant could make millions of people around the world fall silent in unison? That night, when the glare of the camera lights was still on Hyuk's face, everyone was waiting for his next word with a thumping chest. Some held their phones tightly, some held their breath, and some immediately wrote speculation on social media, even though full confirmation had not really been said. The most burning question on ARMY's mind was, what really happened to Taehyung and Jungkook? Initially, there were no signs of a major news explosion. The press conference held at the HYB Central Building seemed to be just a routine agenda that was usually attended by journalists. Hyuk sat quietly, occasionally reviewing a smile, then spoke in a sentence that tended to be formal. However, just when a foreign reporter asked in a teasing tone about the future of the two most highlighted members, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Hyuk's eyes blinked quickly. Then there was an unusually long pause, as if something wants to be covered, but at the same time it is no longer able to be locked tightly. Is there really a special reason why Taehyung and Jungkook are at the center of all the talk? Haven't the two always looked compact, even outside the stage? Why now suddenly a confirmation appears that makes millions of people glued, as if they were watching a drama without being able to press the pause button? An unnamed internal source whispers that there is a big shift behind the scenes, something that involves difficult decisions from management. But the whisper did not give clear details, leaving only a trail of increasingly stifling questions. The public began to wonder, will Hyuk reveal a truth that has been hidden? Or is it just throwing bait that will make speculation even wilder? The tension escalated further when the LED screens in the conference room suddenly displayed footage of internal documentation that had never been shown before. There is a moment where Taehyung is seen talking seriously with the management, while Jungkook stands on the other side of the room, visibly agitated. The cut of the video lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to ignite the embers of controversy. Why was the documentation shown at such an important moment? Was it a coincidence, or was it a hidden message that was meant to be conveyed? New questions began to arise in the minds of the ARMY. Is there a real conflict going on behind the warm smiles they display on stage? Is there a big secret that has been kept clean until finally Hyuk can no longer silence it? The confirmation came as a shock. We have an important decision to make regarding Taehyung and Jungkook. The sentence is not long, nor does it immediately provide details. However, the effect is like the thunder of lightning that strikes in broad daylight. Journalists scrambled to turn on the footage, armies around the world wrote question mark reactions, and social media exploded with endless speculation. Then what was the decision? Is this related to the continuation of the contract? Is there a solo plan that will change BTS's map forever? Or is it about something more personal, something that has been hidden away from the public eye? Hyuk did not immediately give a full answer. He actually bought time, turned the conversation to the global issues of the music industry, then again touched on the importance of honesty in the journey of an artist. ARMY is getting restless, as every word feels like a cryptic clue to a big puzzle. It was as if there was something to say, yet it was being held at the tip of the lips, leaving everyone trapped in a gripping space of mystery. And this is where the controversy begins to grow. Some suspect that HYB is deliberately playing this narrative to draw public attention, while others believe that there is an internal turmoil that can no longer be covered up. Taehyung and Jungkook, two names that have always been synonymous with harmony, are now the axis of the most heated speculation. Is it true that the relationship of the two is being tested by a much bigger situation than just music? To date, there are no additional confirmations that actually answer the question. All that remains are fragments of sentences, facial expressions, as well as pieces of video that vaguely imply tension. Everyone is waiting for the continuation, Everyone hopes that there is a palpable explanation, but all they get is a thickening of the mystery. So, what is Bang Si-hyuk really hiding? Is this the beginning of a split, or is it precisely part of a grand plan that has not yet been revealed in time? Why until this moment, Taehyung and Jungkook chose to remain silent, leaving ARMY adrift in question marks? One thing is certain. That evening the ARMY fell silent not out of satisfaction, but out of bewilderment. And the longer the silence lasts, the greater the wave of speculation that will shake. The full answer may be yet to come, but until then, the big question remains hanging in the air. Is a truth waiting to be unraveled, or will a great secret be buried forever? The night seemed to stop beating, and everyone present in the room felt something different than usual. There was tension hanging in the air, like a thin thread ready to break at any moment. After Bang Si-hyuk's brief statement that left only more questions than answers, the journalists began to whisper, their eyes exchanging glances, as if they could not believe that such a minimal confession could trigger such a big stir. But isn't it precisely silence that scares the most? Isn't it often that a long pause is much more gripping than 1,000 words? When the video was played back through various fanbase accounts, comments began to boom. Some believe it was just a promotional strategy. Others swear they saw Taehyung's agitated look as if he was holding back something. And not a few feel that Jungkook's expression shows a real inner conflict. If there is nothing, why do they look so tense behind the scenes? Is it just an edit? Or is it a clear proof that something is at stake? The questions don't stop there. Why did Bang Si-hyuk choose to give a half-hearted statement? Why did he not immediately affirm HYB's position, but only hung a sentence that seemed to be a lure? Did he deliberately create a stir for the public to keep talking about? Or is he just struggling against the enormous pressure coming from various directions, both internal and external? Meanwhile, rumors began to creep in from various canals. Some say that Taehyung is preparing for a big move outside of BTS, a move that may not be in line with management's decision. On the other hand, Jungkook's name is said to be in a dilemma, squeezed between loyalty to the group and personal ambitions that he can no longer bear. Does this mean the two are at a crossroads? Is this the beginning of a separation that has always been considered impossible? No one knows for sure, but one thing is clear: the ARMY is now divided. Some choose to fully believe that no matter what happens, BTS will remain intact. Some start to fret, feeling that something is deliberately hidden. The small split widened further when another leak emerged that further muddied the atmosphere. An audio recording without context circulated wildly on social media. A voice similar to one of the staffers could be heard saying, "They have spoken, but there is no common ground yet." Who is meant? Is it about Taehyung and Jungkook? Or is it just a casual conversation piece that is deliberately twisted? Bang Si-hyuk himself remained silent after the conference ended. No additional statements, no clarifications. Only the silence is increasingly tormenting. And isn't it that in the world of entertainment, silence is often noisier than the crowd? When the public thirsts for answers, it is precisely silence that makes the fire of controversy grow even greater. The following days became a field of speculation. Korean as well as international media began to drop question mark articles, each with its own analysis. Meanwhile, fans around the world waited every second, staring at their phone screens in the hope of a new notification from HYB or from the members themselves. But what comes is only a vague hint, a photo upload without a caption, a blank stare in a short video, an old song suddenly played back at a concert. Is it all a coincidence? Or is it a hidden message that only those who really pay attention understand? The conflict became even more apparent when a former staffer, who had long since left HYB, opened up in a small interview with local media. He doesn't mention names, but his lines hang. Sometimes, it's not just the music they're fighting for. There were other things much heavier, which never reached the ears of the public. Those words are like new fuel, fueling even wilder speculation. What's harder than music? Does it concern personal freedom? Or maybe something much bigger, something that could shake the foundations of BTS itself? The ARMY was worried. On the one hand, they want to believe that all this is just a small storm that will pass. But on the other hand, The small signs that keep popping up seem to say the opposite. Why does Taehyung seem to be aloof more often? Why does Jungkook suddenly rarely appear in public for no apparent reason? Is this just a coincidence or part of something much more planned? And just when everyone felt that the peak of tension had been reached, a new rumor exploded again. That said, there will be a big announcement scheduled for HYB in the next few weeks, an announcement that is touted to change the map of the Korean music industry forever. That sentence alone is enough to make the hair stand up. Why mention Taehyung and Jungkook in particular? Were they the key to the announcement? Everyone is now waiting with bated breath. The mystery deepens, and no sign of a clear answer will emerge soon. Hyuk remains silent. HYB chooses silence, while Taehyung and Jungkook walk in the shadow of increasingly haunting rumors. So, what exactly is going to happen? Are we witnessing the beginning of a great change, or are we part of a narrative game designed to shake the world? Why does every clue feel like a puzzle piece that is never complete? And even more nerve-wracking, who will dare to reveal the truth first? To date, there is no answer. There is only one mystery that thickens, leaving one question that continues to spin in the heads of millions of ARMY. What exactly is hidden, and when this veil will finally open? The eyes of the world seem to be fixed on one point: the silence that HYB created. There are no clarifications, no additional statements, only a light fog that covers reality. But isn't prolonged silence often a sign that something much bigger is being prepared? The nights after that press conference turned into an arena of global speculation. Hashtags about Taehyung, Jungkook, Hyuk, and HYB take turns trending on Twitter. TikTok is filled with conspiracy theories made by the ARMY, while fan forums in various countries are boisterous with debate. But behind all the hustle and bustle, one big question never found an answer. What is really being hidden? Some small pieces of information began to leak. There is a photo taken secretly in a cafe, showing Taehyung sitting alone with a serious face, like he is thinking about something heavy. Not long after, Jungkook was caught on camera walking hurriedly through the airport without saying a word to reporters, when he usually took the time to smile. Is this a coincidence? Or are they both under a lot of pressure? Then came an anonymous report from an entertainment industry worker who said that there was a closed-door meeting between Hyuk, several HYB executives, and an outsider whose identity was kept secret. The meeting, he said, lasted until late at night and discussed the future of the two core members. Two core members? What are Taehyung and Jungkook? If true, then Hyuk's previous vague confirmation was just the tip of the iceberg of a much bigger decision. The questions are even more burning. Why are only Taehyung and Jungkook in the spotlight? Aren't all members equally important? Or is there something in both of them that puts them in the most vulnerable position? ARMY tries to find answers by connecting every little detail. A selection of songs sung at concerts, short captions on Instagram, to facial expressions in interviews. Everything is dissected, analyzed, and interpreted as if pieces of a puzzle that will reveal the truth. But the more it is sought, the more blurred the whole picture. The conflict became more pronounced when the media began to dare to drop sharp headlines. Some wrote that HYB was preparing for a new era, while others openly mentioned that BTS might be facing internal divisions. The ARMY was ignited. Some accused the media of just looking for a sensation, others felt that the writings were close to the truth. Is this just a media game, or do they really know something that has not yet been revealed? In the midst of an increasingly heated situation, another insider added oil to the fire. In an anonymous post, he wrote a short sentence: "Don't be surprised if one of them chooses a different path." The sentence immediately went viral, causing panic among the ARMY. A different path? Does that mean leaving the group? Does that mean focusing on a solo career and leaving BTS's shadow behind? Or is it something even more surprising, something that no one could have imagined? Hyuk still didn't give an answer. He only appeared in one short interview with flat face, saying that every artist has the right to determine his future. The sentence sounds neutral, but doesn't neutrality often hide something much deeper? Is it a sign of blessing? Or is it precisely a form of despair of a founder who can no longer withstand the storm? Now the speculation has turned into controversy. Some accused HYBE of deliberately playing this drama for the sake of business, while others were convinced that the company was under enormous pressure that they did not expect. Music watchers began to raise their voices, saying that if there really is a big change regarding Taehyung and Jungkook, then the impact will not only be for BTS, but also for the K-pop industry as a whole. The question is,